How are you all tonight? Just waiting for everything to catch up. Just giving you a couple minutes here. Let me know if you're here. Oh, it says I'm live. I got myself on the TV. I better turn my TV down. Okay, there we go. TV's turned down. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing tonight? I'll tape my little plastic piece down here that kind of hides my light for my camera or from the screen. So I have an idea for tonight. We're going to use a little bit of the fall release. I'm excited because my Merry Maker box showed up yesterday. Hello, Lori. Hi, Shirley. And their order's coming on its way today. Hi, Donna R. How are y'all doing tonight? Hello, Marlene from Oklahoma. Luann. Okay. Well, I pulled a few things from my stash, and I'm going to quickly plug in my heat tool. Just a second. I didn't do that yet. Excuse me a second. I keep that unplugged. Well, that's good, Michelle. I hope you're feeling okay and healing fast. I thought the one thing I haven't played with yet from the fall release is the I Love Fall stamp set. So I thought we'd make a card focusing on this as my whole. Hi, Oma. How are you over in another part of Iowa, Cherie? This is going to be the focal point of our card, and I really hope it turns out because I have an idea and I don't know for sure if it's going to work. So I have some aqua pigment paper. I've got the Bumblebee Yellow and the Tangerine Orange Chroma Mist. Hello, Glenda. This is one of the new ones for the fall release. This is the Sunrise, and it's beautiful. And I did want to show that, because of the shimmer and the, shimmer in it, that, you have to make sure you kind of shake, but I roll instead of shake. So I don't want to do that really necessarily on camera. So you get that all kind of using up. Another thing you could do is periodically just kind of tilt them back and forth as you have them stored. But I kind of shake them back and forth, roll them back and forth, try to get as much of that shimmer in my mix. I do have some Golden Gourd embossing powder. Look at how beautiful that is. And that goes really well with the Sunrise Chroma Mist. Embossing ink, aqua pigment paper. I don't know if we're going to use this. This is the Vines A2 piercing plate. And I also grabbed the fall leaves. So we're going to maybe play with that a little bit. So first thing we're going to do on our way home from the fair. The fair? Which fair? Because I said the state fair. Hi, Lisa. How are you? I just cut the tops off my papers, and then I store all my papers inside if I just need a small piece or things like that. I've got my little spray box here. This is kind of if you don't do a lot of spraying, and this is a thing that's kind of fun to practice with. So I'm just going to kind of wait and make sure my TV is a little behind. I just have some water in a spray bottle here. Oops, sprayed it at myself. Happy Wednesday. And I've sprayed the front of this with just some water. You don't have to do that. I'm doing okay. Hi, Lori Gordon. I'm going to spray the bottom side because that helps it kind of flatten out a little bit. And then we're just going to go to town and make a background. And I did do one ahead of time. It's not all the way dry. This is the Orange Chroma Mist. And we're just going to spray it, how you like. I'd use the yellow a little bit more because it's the lighter color. And then we're going to use this is the Sunrise. So I mailed my samples into the store, so I don't have a whole lot of them. I have some pictures, but they're on the phone that I'm taping on, so that's kind of hard to show. So I'm just going to go back and forth and add a little bit more here and there. This Sunrise is a lighter orange, but it has that spray. So, and then that's what I like. So this is what I'm just going to use, and I'm just going to put it aside and let it dry. This one I'll use for another project. So let's see. I mean, I'm not sure if you can get the shimmer on that because it's still wet, but I will show you one that is almost dry. It's still a little bit damp. Not sure if you can, yeah, you can kind of see the shimmer on that one. I'm watching my screen here in front of me and my TV across the way from me are a little bit different, but you can kind of see that shimmer. See how that when the light catches it and kind of shiny? Now it's wet right here. But so we're going to quick heat set that with the heat tool. Because I need this to be dry because we're going to heat emboss. I hope everyone's having a great week. And looking forward to the weekends. This is pretty dry. One way somebody told me once to tell if you were dry is to feel it and feel if it feels cold. It doesn't feel too cold. I'm not sure how it is. I'm going to just quick hit it with my anti-static powder tool just a little bit. And I'm just going to, even though we're going to use the golden gourd, I'm just going to grab a different one I have here that's in my bin because I need to get the golden gourd in a Tupperware, but I need to buy some Tupperware and just hit it and see how it, yep, it's pretty good for what I think we're going to do. There's a little spot right there. Maybe that's not quite. So we'll hit it one more time with the heat gun and then we will get going. The fall release is just beautiful and it's just been fun to play with, and I can't wait to show all my projects on the social media. Okay, that should be pretty good. So we're gonna put that off to the side. Now, this is something, I don't know if other people know this, but something I just recently started to do is I'm going to grab my spellbinders, Platinum 6. Now, this might not be on camera the whole time. I'm sorry. I broke my handle at my last crop, and so I have to carry it awkwardly. And then I have my embossing mat for dry embossing and my embossing plate. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick this right on top. And I'm gonna run it through my die cut machine here. And this just helps flatten it out. Now, as your machine is used, you might need to put a paper shim in there. I do have a metal shim somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but it's flattening out, but it's not 100%. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab just a piece. This is another piece of aqua pigment paper. I don't want to use that. This is a piece of scrap paper. Stick that on top. Run it through. Now you want to make sure if you're not dry that you wash your plates or wipe your plates off in case, you know, it transfers. And then, oh, and of course it got off just a little bit. So I have a little bit of a line in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time, which is fine because we're going to do some texture to this background. But I just want to get it as flat as possible since I want to stamp on it. Pretty simple and easy card. Now look, oh, now look at kind of, see how flat it really is? It's not perfect, but it's a lot flatter than it was. You can see where I had a lot of extra water. That's where I heat embossed that. So we're going to move that off to the side. Now you have a couple of options. You could stamp and emboss this on another piece of paper and then just use the Vine's embossing plate on the back and you'd have a beautiful card. Now what I want to try, this is what my idea was, I want to heat emboss. I'm kind of trying to make a one layer card. Obviously this is going to be put on a card panel, but I don't want to have any other label than that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stamp off. I haven't even used this one yet, so definitely going to use my Misty tool because I may need to stamp it down more than once, especially on watercolor paper. So I've been seeing in the Facebook group, people are getting their Halloween boxes in the mail. So that's exciting. That'll be fun. I can't wait to see what people create with them. And I know a few people have gotten their inspiration boxes because there was some sharing of videos from there. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off because I have powder. Just dry wipe it. We're going to hit this with the heat tool or the anti-static powder tool one more time. Kind of being as generous with it if I can. Just because. Now, I just re-inked my embossing ink. So it may or it hopefully I may have to stamp this more than once. But it looks like it's covering very, very fun. This is a great stamp. Your Halloween box should be here tomorrow, Marlene. That's awesome. It looked like I juiced it up pretty good. So I'm just going to kind of touch it. And then I'm going to kind of flip and look. It looks like I have pretty good coverage, but because of the texture on the aqua pigment paper, I'm going to do it one more time. And then just kind of lightly up here. I don't want to push down too hard because those, but I think I is more delicate. And then the most, I don't want to like distort it. Hello, Ellen. How are you? Let's make it a quick, fast, hopefully one layer card here. Now I have, oops, I dropped it on the floor. I am participating in a blog hop this weekend. Your Halloween box is on the way. You can tell I used Scowleen this weekend. I have a, I'm participating in a YouTube hop this weekend for people who have small followings on their YouTube channels. I have one, mine's under Candi V or Sugar Cards. And so I was using Scowleen to make a Halloween card this weekend. So I just have copy paper, and this is the Golden Gourd. I picked this up at CYOE. I hadn't used it yet, and I'm glad I did because it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful color. It's so different than, it's not copper, it's not gold, it's not silver. It's beautiful. So if you have not picked up the Golden Gourd, I highly recommend you do because it's just beautiful. Hi, Tina. How are you? All right. So now the fun part, the heat setting. So I just let it warm up on my hand. So like it's hot, and then I pull it away, and then I take it to my paper. Pull it back here a little bit. So now this color is going to be very subtle because, and that heat embossed beautifully because it is very in line with the colors. So let's see if I can get it up a little bit closer. I'll get it over here in the light. So I moved my light up. You can see my face better. But it's blinding me. So I'll have to figure out some way, like if I can put something here so it doesn't quite blind me. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, look at all that shimmer. You just opened. Oh, is that gourd? Yep, Golden Gourd. Yep. Sorry, I didn't answer that. You just opened your Merry Making box, Tina. Good for you. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, so here's my craziness. Now, hopefully I'm not going to ruin this. I don't think I will. We're going to dry emboss. Now, here's another version. For very simple, you could take this piece and dry emboss it directly on top, and it would just make one full quick pattern with this pierced leaf plate. But I have these fall leaves. And actually, if you can tell, I have more than one set here. I think I bought a set, and then I think I won a set, or it was a freebie. And I thought we would just go ahead and put them in here, and we're going to go ahead and die cut or dry emboss right into them. If they die cut out, it's totally fine because we can just layer them back in. I'm going to grab some pixie tape here and start kind of layering them out how I want. This is one reason I'm kind of glad I have two sets because I can, we're just going to lay them all over, and we're going to like make a puzzle piece with this. I was thinking about making a card this weekend, and I just didn't get around to it. And I thought, you know what? We'll do this on my live. Nothing like trying something new, right? All right, so I am kind of using a little bit of extra tape to kind of hold it down. I'm going to be very careful when I peel it off. Maybe I'll stick this one kind of like here, kind of tuck it in. And then we're going to use that same embossing mat that I got with my spellbinders. I know a couple people sell them out there. The embossing kits, I think Taylor Expressions has one. And then we're going to kind of put this one like this. So you can get those if you don't have one, if your machine didn't come with one. Like I originally bought one because I didn't have a set. And then when I got my Spellbinders Platinum 6, it came with one. Okay, I haven't used these yet, so I'm trying to take off the sticky. I'm just kind of peeling off the sticky a little bit, so it's not quite so bad. And then sometimes I'll just dab it with my anti-static powder tool. I think I'm trying to get them so they're not super close to each other. I think this one's going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and grab my platform so we can put this right on here. And we're just going to put it so I have my tan embossing mat on the bottom. I don't want my dies to be on top of one another because they will impress into each other. I've done that by accident. So we do have to kind of move them around so they're laying flat. And then if I have to tape them to the mat, that's fine. All right. Let's grab maybe this one. We'll put in here. It's going to have the sticky to it. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Yeah. Yep. I usually, that's one of the first things I do when I get mine, when they have the sticky is, and these, I've had the second set for a long time. So that I think that's one of the reasons why they're extra sticky is because, you know, the heat, I'm in like a porch setting, so it can get hot in here sometimes. And especially if the air doesn't come in here during the day. I keep one door open. We took the door off, the one door to the dining room, but it's still, the air doesn't always move in here. So I think we're going to put this one over here. Oh, it may not. We may have to do a second pass because I'm not sure if it'll fit. That's what we'll probably do with the last. So let's try it, okay? All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down on top. And then it should press it into the folder. And like I said, it shouldn't cut it out because it's the rubber mat. So we should just get the impression. If it cuts through, we're just going to glue it down and paper piece it back together. I'm only going to run it through once just in case they moved. All right. Here is, oh, see, they're stuck. Here is, okay, so now it looks like it almost cut through. So one way you could prevent that to make sure is you could put washi tape over the back, but I think we're going to be okay. There might be a crack here or there, but we will glue it down. Yeah, they're stuck to my plate, these couple of ones. I'll have to do some doctoring on that after. And then, like I said, we're going to pull these up. Very carefully pull off the washi tape or the pixie tape because even though it's low tack, it can still, sometimes if it's a wet spot, leave that. So it did die cut a little bit thick through here, but that's fine. We can cover up the cracks with some embellishment or we can do some splatter. It turned out just how I had hoped. So now look at that. So here you can see the back side. You can see where it kind of cut almost through. But this is a very thinner, that's the thinner paper. So I could have put another piece of copy paper or a scrap piece underneath, and that might have helped too. Because like there's a scratch right there. So you can still see that. But now we've got that fun die cut, that fun thing in there. So now we're going to go ahead and finish that off. And then we might put it, and then we might mat it on a piece of paper just to give it some stability. And then we'll cut it down. So I am going to put this one up like this. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and tape it to this piece. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll probably cut the sides off anyway. I think that we'll do a little bit of extra heat emboss, and that's probably what we're going to do. So just trying to see, maybe we can we put in, let's see, let's turn. I just want to try to get, I want to cut in a little bit. I know that I want to get in a little bit more because that's not going to fit right there, which is fine. We'll use one of these skinny ones here. I just wanted to have a different print than what that is already there. Just because I don't know how deep I want to cut this down yet. We're just going to tape it down. Oh, I see. Yep, we got to move it back here a little bit so it stays on. Not paying attention to the sides. But yeah, I will cut it down some, but there's a little bit of extra white room. So we're just going to quick do that. I'm not going to worry about that piece up there too much. I'm going to do this one quick off. Hi, Marilyn from San Diego. I'm just going to quick do this over on my other table. Run it through real quick. Not quite as many dyes with it this time, so I didn't do like the crack thing like I did before, but that's probably because I had a lot of dyes. And then we'll quickly move it over here and we will throw in the round one. This is an ash leaf. I'm not the best with this kind of. And tape that down. And then see if I can move it over just a bit. Actually, we should be able to turn it sideways like this. We'll get the ash leaf in like there. And we'll put this funky tip right in there. And then we will be good to go, because we're going to cut the rest of it off. So we were talking about San Diego the other night on, I think, Shannon's Live, because my mom is from San Diego. That's where she was born and raised. I had actually thought that's where I would end up someday. But instead, I have my children, and they kind of kept me in Iowa, which is fine with me. I love the seasons. Fall's coming. It is my favorite time of year. I am slowly starting to like winter more though. Okay, so we've got this. So I think I'm going to we're going to tape this down because we've got a couple of cracks there. I'm going to actually use a piece of this washi tape or pixie tape, kind of tape it together first on the back side because nobody's going to see that. Just to make sure it has a little bit of extra there. And this was already used, so it's not super. And then we will tape it. That is a good question. Because I don't remember. You know, she lived there. My dad was going across country, and when he was young with a friend, and the funny thing is they ran out of money, so he had to get a job to come back towards the Midwest, and that's how we met my mom. And they dated for like a year or so, a long distance, and then they got married. She moved to Minnesota. So I can tell you that my family has a very rich history in San Diego. My family is one of the founding families of town of San Diego. So Point Loma, I had a great, I don't know how many couple great uncles. Run Point Loma Lighthouse. The Barona Stars is part of the Indian tribe that my mom is part of. That's probably more information than you really, but I haven't been to San Diego since my son was an infant, and he is going to be 24 this year. So it's been a long time. Okay, so I just glued that down onto some copy paper. That gave it a little bit more strength. So when I go to die cut it, it shouldn't fall apart. And then we're going to go ahead and I guess I really didn't have to do that edge as much, but we are probably going to cut it down to 4. I'm just going to trim off the side. Definitely trimming off the bottom because my papers don't quite match up. And so it probably didn't matter so much how much of this. Well, thank you. My grandpa lived out there until he wasn't able to live out there anymore, and then he moved in with my parents, or into my hometown in Minnesota. So there we go. We've kind of got the beginnings of our card. I think it's fun. See, now you could totally grab some, leaves and put them down, but I love that it's just this one quick one layer card. We're going to put this on a card base quick. Let me grab a top folded. I'll give you a little hint. This is one of my cards for the Merry Maker event. I folded all my card bases because I don't make the cards during an event. I love virtual events. I do several a year. And even when I go to in-person events, I make card bases or card fronts, and then I put them in an album so that I have memories. Okay, now this isn't exactly true what I wanted to do. I don't want to do this. So I changed. This is going to be a 3-layer card with card base. I forgot. I want to add some more. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. I want to do some more fun. We're going to add some more Golden Gorge. So I just have a piece of scrap paper. I just keep some 4 A2 card paces up the top. I don't care so much if it's, we're just going to go around the edges with the embossing powder. I did try this past week. If you didn't want to necessarily use embossing powder or you're not getting good coverage, that I used yellow with my gold and my golden gourd, and it did work. You know what, Marlene? I have this whole, here, I'll show you an example. So I have a local scrapbook store near me, and then I went to a convention that doesn't happen anymore. And these are, I took 6 classes, and these are all the cards from those classes. It was a 3-day event, plus my scrapbook store, and that takes up so much room. So now I just make, this is Crop and Create. So I don't say the Bruce Monroe ones in this one. Here's the flower, the virtual event that we did. And so I just make card fronts and I stick them in the front. And that is because those are my samples. I don't usually give those out as to cards. I like to keep those as my memory. I don't scrapbook too much anymore, so I don't take pictures as much. And that is what I decided it was. And then I can go back and reference those cards, like for the Create Your Own Ending event. Same thing, make them as card fronts. I reference them as my samples, and I make a card based on it if I want it to be the same, or if I want something very similar and make a change. And that is why, because as card makers, we have tons. Now, tons of cards. Now, I will tell you that most albums are 4x6. So you do have to modify them if you decide to do a card album to the measurements down a little bit. And that, Ellen, that is, I have some of those too, because I don't have enough books. But I just went and got some dollar ones from a big box store, and I filled them up very quickly. So I have no more left. And now I've started searching garage sales for old albums like that, so I can do that too. Okay, a 5x7 album would be perfect for this, because then you could use your full-size card bases. I just have the golden gourd on here. We're going to go ahead and heat set this. Like, again, I'm going to heat it off on my hand for just a little bit. And then I didn't pour it away because we're going to do more than one layer. I want to get a nice thick coat of this. I didn't get the best embossing ink on it yet, so this is one fun way you can do a colored ink and do fairy dust or icicle over it, and it will be matching to your ink that you're using on your card, or ink blend on it, and then do embossing ink over it. Heat setting it. I don't know if you guys can see that melting in there. And then what I'm going to do is, well, it's kind of hot, I'm going to dip it back in and pull some more up. Oh! I don't know if you saw that. I just put the heat tool towards and just blew it all over my desk. That was not what I was going for. So I'm going to have to go ahead and use some more embossing in it. If you keep it hot, yeah, I could. I'm lazy. I like making cards, and I should make my own album that I can put them in, because then I can just glue them on even. So I'm just heating it up again, because as it's hot, it will stick to the powder. And I have to put some more ink down on it. And if you go about 3 times, you get a really smooth layer, but I'm just going to go 2. Oh my gosh, you guys, you should see my desk. I have embossing powder everywhere. So I'm just keeping it hot. And then I'm adding more, because we just need the edges. So I did not do this the smart way. I said I should have just put more embossing ink down. That's just funny. I don't know if it is literally everywhere. All right. Got one little spot here. I love to use heat embossing powder to make the corners of my cards or my mats for my cards, or to make matching sentiments. So sorry for the noise on that part, but I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. I'm going to tilt this just a little bit. This is all embossing powder right here. And it's all, can you see that? So I hit the powder just right with the embossing powder and it sent it flying. It's a good thing we get a lot and we don't use a lot, right? I have also used embossing powder on wet ink, like on this, and I've sprinkled it on and heat set it directly into it. I'm not going to do that tonight. We can do that in another video. So I am going to very quickly try to wipe some of this off so it's not, it's everywhere. All right. And then I'm going to have to move everything off my desk and clean it off. That's hilarious. I haven't done that in a long time where I've made such a mess of embossing powder. There we go. Well, at least now I can work without having to have that powder everywhere. Okay, that was kind of fun. Yeah, the lids are, but the other, it was all the on that paper. So, of course, it got all over my tape. So we're gonna have to retape this because I had the sticky side up. That's fine. It's just a little extra sparkle. Nobody has to know about. Right? I was playing with my powder tool the other day and I just went poof and I just spilled it all over, which I know I'm not the first person to do. But I was trying to make sure it was all over the floor. And I was like, oh, I got to sweep that up. Got to vacuum that up before the dog gets in here and thinks he should lick it. So I added some, because of that, I added some liquid glue as well. You know what, Donna R? I love black embossing powder, but I hate it. So I've started using pigment ink in Icicle instead. Just because it's less work for me. All right, so got that glued down. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my Misty on top. I'm gonna move these dies. I'll throw them back in the little bin here. Yeah, it's everywhere. I'm gonna be cleaning up Golden Gourd for days. And then when I have extra dies or extra leaves, I just put them in there in the pocket with the rest of them. So I don't know if you guys do that, but I do store them like that. So that way they have, and actually I have a whole bunch right here. These are some with the Golden Gourd on them, or no, the Sunrise. Might stick these back inside here quick. I think the rest are in another side of the room. So yeah, I get black embossing powder, white embossing powder everywhere. So, okay. So we've got that. We need to put it on a card base. Yeah, I was holding that down. Where did I put that? See, now I'm all scattered. All right, there's my card base. This is now a full panel. And then we got all that extra shimmer. And then we're gonna add a little bit of color. We're gonna, you guys help me choose what color. Let's add some gems. I know the Buttons Galore jewels are sold out on the website right now. But sign up for notification when they're in, because that's what I'm going to use. I'll put links to everything I used in the description box tomorrow. I found that if I start trying to put it in ahead of time, it puts it in the description when you guys get an email notification, like of an event. So I tried to stop doing that so it's not this big long event. Maroon. Okay, well, I'll go pull them out, Michelle, and you tell me. I do have, I'm going to cut this down. It's just a little bit smaller than my panel. I do have some others we can use too. Okay, if we don't like these colors. Maroon would be perfect, but I don't know if I have maroon in the jewel mix. I have these. This is the brights and the neutrals, but a friend of mine gave me last year. She gave me, and then she let me go through all of her old diamond dots, and she let us go through them all. So there's some mustard ones, which will be very close to that, but let's see if we've got maroon ones. They're perfect for this. Those are more of a cranberry. Those might be pretty for a nice big pop of color. I don't like the red. And so I just went through her stuff and chose a bunch of different colors. I'm not seeing. Those are more of a brown we could do. But, so if you have anyone that you know that does diamond dots, or if you ever see them in a garage sale cheap, these are perfect for shaker cards or for the centers of flowers. There's an orange. I don't know if I like the orange though. This is kind of a maroon color. What do you guys think? So here are the choices. We've got the, I'll make sure I get on it. Let's see, I'll go over here by the, sorry. Kind of a, okay, you're not gonna be able to see that. Let me grab a white piece of paper here. I've got kind of a maroon and a burgundy color, and I've got brown and then more of a mustard color. Yeah, I was thinking maybe this one, the cranberry. That's what I was kind of thinking too, because we got the deep red and the dark red and the light red. I think those are the ones I think we're going to go with. One of those. The cranberries. Cranberries. Okay, let's go with cranberry. It's cranberry. Okay, 2 cranberries. We're going with cranberry. All right. Move those off to the side. So they're teeny tiny little dots. You have a bunch of folder holders full of random ephemera. Yes, yep. I have random ephemera too. Cranberry. All right. Looks like that's consensus. Now, I have no real rhyme or reason other than odd numbers when I do these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my little, this is actually a diamond dot stick, wax stick. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw some around. And then we'll see what we think. I think I'm going to go ahead and put one here. We do have a little bit of a crack right there. I might try a little trick on that quick. I'm just going to throw some around. Triangles work. You know, so like there's a triangle here. I know some people say just to throw them on and let them lay, but I have too much control issues for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we'll put one up here, 6, and I don't know where I want to put the other one. Maybe we'll put one right here. I think that looks good. That'll be good. Now, before I do this, what I think I'm going to try to do is we're going to just try and do a little bit of help. I'm just going to spray this a little bit. I'm just spraying I could have just taken out and dropped it too. Splatter would have been a fun on this. I'm going to go ahead and just take a paintbrush, and I'm just going to see if I can kind of massage the white that's showing from the paper. You know, splatter would have been fun. You know, you could have splattered a bunch of colors. And then I'm just going to kind of go whoop, 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 so that the white isn't really showing that was from the inside core of this paper. And I think that works enough. Awesome. All right, let's get some glue going. Oh, see, I didn't cover my glue again. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of just move these out of the way. I kind of have an idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. This one I know we're going to do it right on that dot because somehow we got a little dot. They are tiny, but you know what? They're perfect for, like I said, flower centers, shaker cards. I love them. I mean, it was a great idea that my friend was like, these colors I really don't need anymore. I don't do a ton of diamond dots anymore. So she's so sweet. Thank you, Tara. And look at how fun those are. Yeah, no control on those. So they're super fun. I mean, you can, and let's, oops, see, we're splattering things all over the place. There's a little bit, it looks like a push in right there from white. Just dab it off a little bit. And then to lighten it up a little bit, I'll just kind of hit it with that. All right. So we have 20 minutes, so we can just play a little bit more. Maybe I can do what I was talking about with that other piece here and show you what I meant by heat embossing. So I just think I threw those in the wrong bin, didn't I? I did. Oh, well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was so excited hoping that would turn out. Okay, so what we're going to do is this is the one I did live in class. And so it's still super wet. I don't know if you guys can tell that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to scatter a little bit of the golden gourd all around with my fingers. This is kind of fun. You can hit it with a paintbrush to move it if you get big clumps, but I think this is kind of fun. Fall is my favorite. Thank you, you guys. I'm so excited. I just had this idea for it and turned out. Now this is the gilded, and it's very hard. You can't probably see all of this because it's pretty wet. It's very hard to see the amounts there, but I'm just going to throw some bits here and there. And then let's see. I think I also have some copper, the copper penny. And we're going to just do a little bit. This will be a little bit of fun, extra dark. Like you could do the same thing with the card I just made, but use this copper and that sentiment would really pop. So I'm just sprinkling it all over. So it's in the wetness there. I'm actually going to see if I can cover that up a little bit so I can use that. I'm not going to be able to hold this right away because it's very, very wet. So I don't know. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I know you lost my sound because I was using my phone for the sound, and I apologize for that. I went to zoom in and I hit the Bruce Monroe channel button, and so we ended up going. My phone went off to the Bruce Monroe channel. There we go. All right, I was going to zoom in a little bit. All right. Let's see. Move my camera over. I want to zoom in so you can maybe see it as it dries. Okay. I'll move this down just a little bit. There you go. Yeah, so I was using my phone camera is better than my sound is better than my tablet. All right, so we're just going to kind of hit this. It's going to be kind of hard to see. I got to do a corner before I can pick it up because it's really wet. I'm just going to heat emboss it a little bit. Okay. Then I'll pull it up and see if you guys can see some of it. It's going to melt that embossing powder. It's going to take a little bit because this is a wet paper. Oh, that sunset is so pretty. That's what those blobs are right there. Heat from underside a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry on its own because I think you guys have the idea. I don't want you to have to stand here and watch this. But now, if you can see, it's very hard in that harsh light, I think. Let's see if I can get closer to the camera and see. There is texture from all of the embossing powder now. So you can when you can't see it in person, you can see it in person, but this is all like rough, like different textures from the embossing powder, which gives it the fun colors of that. So I'm gonna let that finish drying on its own. Let's zoom back out. And we will see what we got left to do. I'm just gonna put that aside to dry. Have you guys seen a lot of the new release? I'm assuming you've seen the videos. I will have about 10 minutes left here, max. So not sure we have enough time to do a whole lot. Oh yeah, I was gonna do some splatter on there. We're just gonna make a bigger mess. How does that sound? Let's splatter on here too. Now that I turned my thing upside down on here, I can't get it to pick up. We're just gonna move it over. There we go. So I just got, this is that sunrise. I'm gonna add a little water because I want it to get really wettery, and I'm just gonna splatter some spots on it. It's gonna be kind of hard to see it, but that's one thing about fun about something, and this is kind of like a mixed media, is you can just add layer upon layer upon layer. Let's add a little bit of that orange. If you were in the event and you had some of the limited edition Chroma Mist that came out a couple of years ago, you know, grab some of those. There were some fall colors. Those would be beautiful on here. There was like a cider and things like that. So we're going to go and just add it through that. Well, thank you. Splatter is always fun, Ellen. Thanks, Susan. I enjoy creating. I took a vacation day yesterday, and that's what I did the afternoon, was craft. I had a couple days to use up. I'm going to heat set this just a little bit. Pretty good for what we need it to do. I'm just going to take my towel and kind of any really soppy areas, because I thought this was where I was talking about. So we've got, I love this stencil. This is one of my favorites from the release. This is the linked, and I just keep my slim lines in their envelope, cut the top off. We're going to go ahead and put this down, and we're going to just be real messy with this. You could do embossing ink. I'm going to go ahead and grab Roar. And I am going to use an emboss or a brush this time, because this is going to be kind of more mixed, a mixed media type. There's no pixie spray on the back of this yet, so we might have to do that just a little bit. I need to get some more pixie spray. Almost out. We're just going to put that down just to kind of hold it in place a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and just go back and forth because I don't want it to move too much. We're just going to add some of these LinkedIn just for some subtle color here and there. See? Hi, Tia. You just kept that out. I think another fun way to do this background is I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is just embossing ink. And I use a Ranger tool when I do embossing ink through stencils. And I twist. And I go up and down. I don't move it. And then we'll go ahead and throw some embossing ink on that. And then we'll have a fun background that I can finish and create a card for. And I think instead of the golden gourd, I'm going to go ahead and use the gilded for this. You could use the icicle, which would show a lot of the color underneath. And I didn't do any anti-static powder tool, so I might even add just a little bit over that spot that I did with the Simon Hurley inks. It's not perfect, especially around the edges. That's no big deal because we're going to cut this down. I usually cut my panels down. Now I did see, where's my paintbrush here? I'm going to go in here and try to get this out right here so I keep that a little bit more of a linked. Just clean that up, the edge up just a bit. But it doesn't have to be perfect because that's part of the fun. I don't worry about getting my pixie spray off. Dawn dish soap, I believe, hers, but for the most part, I don't worry about it. I find if I have pixie spray that's stuck on the back of mine, I will put them in upside down to, you know, so that the pixie spray will talk to, or I'll just stick them to the top of this for a little bit, but a little bit of residue. It's usually not too bad. I don't really have any that are super sticky. I think part of it is because I'm not a super, if I'm over super spray, usually it's when I'm doing some sort of glaze or medium that I need to wash my stencil off right away. But I would say Dawn. But I don't usually worry about it too much. I have some that still have some sticky on it and I just use them. It doesn't hurt them. Just heat up this. And look at the fun background we have to do something with. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. But yeah, Michelle, I would try, you could try Dawn. A lot of times I have found, Michelle, if you really want to, is, well, I have a bottle of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol that I use for tough inks. That kind of works. And I lay it on here, I'll show you. I just lay my my tool over it. And this is the side that has the pixie spray. But if I find that I've got a lot of stuff, I just spray it with isopropyl alcohol. And then I just take it from the other side and just kind of wipe like this. And that tends to help. It still has some of the sticky. I didn't wipe that side, but it shouldn't hurt too much. If you tend to overspray, like I said, I think they say Dawn or Dawn Power Wash helps, but I think it adds just a little bit extra layer for the next time I need to use it. But just wiping it like this a little bit gently. I don't like to scrub too hard. So I still have some because I didn't rub it super bad, but it's not, see, I mean, it's not going to stick anymore. So I can just slip it right back in its container. If I'm super worried about it, like I said, I stick it to the front of my, plastic. And then eventually it just kind of, but Dawn dish soap, I do have an ice cream bucket that I'll put put soapy water in so that I can clean things off if I'm not going to clean them off right away. And that sometimes seems to help too with that, just soaking them in water. And a nail brush, just a nail brush you would use to clean your nails. Those are wonderful cleaning stuff off your stencils gently in the sink. So this was the fun background that we finished. I haven't made a card with that yet, but you can see the shimmer from the sunrise. I mean, look at that whole, all the shimmer in here is from that. We've got some embossing powder in here, some ink, some stenciling, and this is just going to be a fun backdrop that I can use with something on top. But tonight we made this card using the I Love Fall stamp set and the fall leaf cutting dies. I made a background with the bumblebee yellow, tangerine orange, and the sunrise chroma mist. The sunrise is new. And then we just heat embossed it, dry embossed the leaves, and then we made a mat with some more of the golden gourd embossing powder for kind of a, ended up being 3 layers technically, but a pretty flat card. So I appreciate you guys joining with us. Oh, look at that sparkle. Joining me tonight. I hope you had some fun. And I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your week. I will see some of you at the Merry Making event virtually, of course. I'll be attending as a class person. So have fun. Have a great night. And I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.